Hey guys, Erie is here, Merry Christmas and welcome along to another video. And in this video I thought I'd answer the question that I get all the time of how do I prepare for a race? So I'm going to show you how. We're here for the Nations Cup and I'm going to go to the top 10 times and choose the slowest time on the leaderboard for the car that I want to choose. Then I go to the replay, turn on all the info, and then we get studying. The reason we've got all the info on is because we want to know about gear choices, throttle input, braking points, etc, etc, and then we go for a lap. So we're on board here with VQS Floris, looking for the boxes on the left here. He brakes in between them and then we're going to go down to second. Now this tricky right hand here, the long sweeping right, we're going to get back on the power here at the second brake in the shadows. And then coming down to turn number 4, we're going to look for the last brake in the shadows and go down to second. But you'll see that he gets on the power early in third, and that's to promote some traction. The next corner here, just as the shadows start on the right hand side, we're going to brake and then go down to second. Get through here, you've got to be really patient here, don't get on the power too early, otherwise you'll be in the gravel. And then we're looking for the start of the rumble strip on the right here, and we're down to third. Again, try not to run wide because you get yourself a penalty if you go too near that gravel. Now, quick as you dare through here, there's no real exact science to it. Well, there probably is, but none that I really pay attention to. And then we're looking for our braking point at the end of this straight, which is the box on the right hand side. Down to first, and then again for traction, early up into second. And then pretty much it's just survival round here. Down to second here, keeping it as tight as you can. Again, don't get on the power too early because otherwise you'll wander off into that gravel. Start braking here at the tyre marks, down to second, and then it's just a case of not dying on these curbs. But it's a really good insight there of how much curb you're allowed to use. And in this case, it's all of it. And then it's just a flat run to the line. So I make notes on all of those in a notepad, on your phone, do whatever, and then I try for myself. And all I really do is try and imitate it. But here you're going to see it's going to be difficult to imitate if I'm on the wrong tyre. So on the mediums here, so I work that out pretty quickly as I spin, and then we're going to put the softs on and go again. I also put the ghost on. I also set it at 0.5 seconds ahead of us so that we can see where their braking points are in real time and we can see where they're turning in, and it also, critically for me, gives us something to chase. So I've limited myself to 10 laps of practice here for this one. I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours doing it, and we're here on our 9th attempt. We're up, as you can see here. But then at the braking point of the long straight here, I just get it a little bit wrong and lose a bit of time here. So I was up, but things haven't gone great. And you can see that the Ghost, as a result, whilst it feels good sliding around, it's not the quickest at all. So it's pulled away a little bit there. So we're just going to come through these curbs. Got those pretty much nailed. Keeping it in first and then flat, as we saw on the top 10 lap time study, all the way to the line. So this is going to be our final attempt, and because of that issue you can see that we lost almost 2 tenths at that point. Well, pretty much exactly 2 tenths. We were 300ths of a second up and then we were 1700ths of a second down, so not great. So here we are then on our final attempt, trying to do what we can and trying to take what we learnt from the top 10 study time. So things are looking good so far. You can see here how far behind we are, so not a great deal at this point considering we're 30 seconds into the lap and we're 0.052 ahead already. We're going to run a little bit wide here. That's not too much of a problem. It's not fantastic obviously, but not an absolute game breaker there, and things are still looking pretty good. As you can see there on the delta just above the gearing, we're almost 1.5 tenths up now. We almost missed the apex there, which isn't great, so we lose a bit of time. But remember, I lost all the time really at the bottom of this straight. So we're going to be looking here to get this nailed. And remember from the top 10 time study, that was down to first and then up to second quickly to keep traction. So pretty much exactly the same as we were before, within 3,000ths of a second, and that was much, much better. You can see here that we're still ahead, which is good. We're actually quite a big amount ahead. We're almost 1/10, which is good for us, And then again, we just need to survive at this point. So coming down into this final chicane, can I get it right? Over that chicane, then the other one, all good. And then it's just a straight power to the line. And by the looks, unless anything massive is going to happen, this is going to be our quickest lap. And we come across the line with a 1 minute 42.693, which was pretty good, to be quite honest. We weren't far away from the top 10, so you could see it visually there. And we're going to take that time with all that practice. I think it took us about 20 minutes or so, 5 minutes on lap study, then 10 laps, and now we are ready to do the race. So as the lobby is revealed here, you can see we are car number 15. Not a slow lobby by any means, all SS or A+S ranked drivers, so not going to be easy. We're going to move into quali here, just a short quali session, only 5 minutes. So we're probably going to have 2 shots with this one, an out lap and then 2 quick ones. And as we finish our out lap here, you can see we're in pretty good position. We are probably about a second here on track behind this Lexus. The Portuguese driver there is the 3rd highest ranked driver in the lobby as well, so we should not catch him and he should drag us around quite well. And after that lap, no real issues, and we come across the line with a 1 minute 43.455, which is 0.719 off provisional pole at the moment. He's going to pull off there. I'm not sure if that's the best idea because I don't think there's enough time to go again, but we are, and it's going to be a struggle really because we have no slipstream, but we're going to soldier on because you never know what is going to happen. Despite being 2 tenths down here, we're going to get a decent run out of the corner, and to be honest, I felt like we didn't get the most out of it on the last sector on the last lap, so we're going to keep going and we're going to see if we can improve because every thousandth of a second counts in this. So as we've got a good banker as well, we can really attack these corners. So we're going to go over 1, go over 2, no real problem there, flat on the power, make our way round the final corner, and let's see what the time is. People are putting their times in left, right and centre, and we're going to come across the line 1,000th of a second better off. And we're going to take that time in that 6th place onto the grid. Yes, I said grid. This is a standing start on this one. So we're going to have to put our traction control on. Now, I hadn't really done any practice starts. That's one thing I probably should have done. So I'm going to be pretty conservative here and put it up to traction control number 2. But as soon as I feel there's traction, I'm going to put it down to 1 and then down to 0. So as the Spanish red arrows go overhead, we are away. We get a good start, traction control is off, and now we've got the radar on because chaos usually ensues here at turn 1, especially when it's a standing start. But we're going to make it through pretty much unscathed here. We find ourselves on the inside, which then becomes the outside, which then again becomes the inside, and we're going to take a couple of places as a result, and we're up to 4th at this point. So things are looking good. We've gone up a couple of places as we've seen, and we just need to keep it clean. But the Frenchman in front is going to brake earlier than we anticipate. It looks like I went for the move there. I didn't. I just tried to avoid him, hence why I let him keep the position there. But then keep your eye on the radar, because whilst it looks like the Portuguese guy there just did a dive bomb up the inside, he didn't actually. He got hit by the Frenchman, and the Frenchman is someone that we're going to need to pay attention to here. So at the moment there's a Brit behind in 5th, but ignore him. We need to think about Erwin F1, who is currently in 6th. But looking ahead here, there's going to be someone there with a penalty. He's serving that, and I think about going for the move on the pair of them, but then I think better of it because that would be absolutely crazy here on the first lap. So the 2 Portuguese guys there are going ahead. I feel that I'm ahead of this Portuguese driver here, but he's going to leave it in and push us wide, which is going to push us into the clutches of the Frenchman behind. Now just keep your eye on the radar here. Despite being in line with the Portuguese driver in front, the Frenchman is just going to turn us around, and we end up in the barrier and all the way down in 19th. The only person behind us is Jev at this point. So things have gone from 6th to 4th to pretty much last. Not an ideal start at all. Now, it was quite frustrating as the Frenchman had no right to be there, I don't think. And it was all set up by the Portuguese driver, who also, in my view, shouldn't have gone up the inside like that at the corner previous. But it is what it is, and we need to somehow salvage something from this one. So I'll introduce the race here for those who are still left. I know there's a lot of people who switch off when I crash, so thank you if you're still here. So this isn't the manufacturer's series that you're probably used to. We're actually in the Nations Cup today, and the track here is Catalonia in Spain. The car is the Lexus, as you probably worked out, and any Group 3 cars were on offer. Of course, you're not tied to a manufacturer here in the Nations Cup. So I went with old trusty. I went with the Lexus, and the strategy based on the fuel and tyre multipliers here is a 2-stopper. So we need to use the mediums, so we're going to be on those for as little as possible. So we're going to go 6 softs, then another 6 laps on softs, and then the final lap on the mediums to meet the criteria and not get that vicious 1-second penalty at the end, which is a good one if you're at the front and probably would have worked quite well. But now we're no longer at the front, it's not very good at all, and basically we are screwed. But we're going to crack on and see, as I say, what we can salvage out of this one. And whilst I was introducing that, you probably saw that I made up a few positions. We had one when somebody went off into the gravel, and then a couple more as we moved between the 2 drivers who had penalties. So we're up to 15th at this point now, but we're on a slightly different strategy. Obviously we're on the strategy that we want to be if we were at the front, but if we were at the back we would have gone on a completely different one. So we're going to move on to lap 3 here. 2 drivers are going to come in ahead, so they are on the 3-5-5 strategy, which is another option. So 3 on medium, 5 on the soft, and then another 5 on the soft, which basically just means that you endure being on the mediums for a couple laps longer, so you have to do 1 lap less on the softs each time, keeping them fresher. And by the time we're at the bottom of the straight there, we were in 12th. Now that seems like good progression, but it's positively skewed, as I say, by the various strategies. Moving ahead to lap number 5 then, we're up to 10th as more people are coming in. But I'm not going to be there for long, as the Brit who is on the softs that only changed them a couple of laps ago is going to come past. I'm not going to fight it there, there's just absolutely no point. All it's going to do is just add time to my total race time, which I cannot afford right now. But to be honest, I probably should have done, because coming up through the right hander on the straight here, this is going to happen. Now, I think there are a couple of other locations, such as Interlagos, where this can happen. This is called the curb glitch. Now, there's no reason why I could have spun or should have spun, but for some reason I did. When you hit that specific part, round you go. And we're back down to 18th. Because of those spins, I just have to change the strategy, and I've decided to come in earlier. So I will now be on a 5-5-3, just meaning I won't be on the softs, kind of like the guys were before, for as long each stint. And I changed to the mediums to get those out of the way. But as if things couldn't get any worse, unfortunately these mediums were going to cause us a problem. I missed the apex here, coming into turn number 5, run wide, and then I just can't catch it on these less grippy mediums. And then I'm going to make an absolute meal out of turning it around. So much so that the game considered disqualifying me. Absolutely terrible from me, and very, very embarrassing. We do manage to make up a place though after the Spaniard does the whole quitting but not thing by staying in the pits. But we're going to carry on here, because that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And it gives me an opportunity for those that are still here, because as I said earlier, I know a lot of people turn off when I spin and crash. But for those who are here, I want to take the opportunity to say thanks once again for staying, and thanks generally for all your support throughout the year. It's been another great year of racing here on Gran Turismo Sport. The channel has continued to grow, and as a result I have been afforded lots of opportunities, which is all down to you guys. I've enjoyed sharing it with you all, and yes, GT Sport can be infuriating. Take today as an example, but there is a reason we all come back each and every week, and I for one still absolutely love it. And hopefully 2021 will see the release finally of Gran Turismo 7. I've never transitioned to a newer version of any game really on YouTube before, so I'm interested to see how that goes. I also hope taking you through the process of how I prepare has helped at least some of you, and has allowed me to give a little back. 2020 has been a rough year. For the final time this year though, thank you for sticking with me. Stay safe out there, guys, and make sure you give those you love a hug, and I will see you in the new year. And until then, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy the video, please do hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Also, if you want to help the channel out by using my links to buy any Fanatec gear, it will be very, very much appreciated. But thanks for watching though, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.